You are listening to the Built to Grow podcast, delivering the knowledge in all things fitness business. We help gym owners win. Here are your hosts, Tim Lyons and Randy Engston.
All right, welcome back to the Build to Grow podcast. I am your host, Tim Lyons, and in studio, the captain of conversion, Randy Engston. What's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
And a special guest, warm welcome to Clate Mask, the founder and CEO of Keap, formerly known as Infusionsoft. Welcome to the show, my man.
Oh, great to be here. Thanks, Tim.
So I was going to say Clate Mask the third, but I didn't do that. And I was just telling you, I'm an actual third of my same name, but I don't know how that works, man. What are the rules? Anybody know the rules?
I don't know the rules.
The hierarchy of...
Look at my family. My younger brother is Junior.
Oh, wow.
Which is even just as weird.
So it's your dad's name is Pete, you're Randy.
I'm Randy, and then my younger brother was named
Pete.
Junior. Yeah.
That skipped the oldest.
I think they just didn't want to get creative again. They're like, well, let's just go with what we were going to go with the first time, but we'll just run with it.
They made a mistake with you. Man.
Yeah, I believe me. We all know this one.
So Clate's here. We just had a nice discussion in the green room in the other office. He's probably not been on a podcast like this. We're off the cuff, man.
This is awesome. I love it.
Yeah, we're off the cuff. So the nice thing is that you're local, right? And unfortunately, the way we run our podcast, you actually have to be here. Like this isn't like a Zoom play because we got the crispy mics that we want you to have on.
No, these are great. No problem.
So we gotta, and before we get started, guys, if you're interested in anything we're talking about on this podcast, book a call with Randy, pfmarketingsolutions.com/call. You will get some auto response from Infusionsoft. But let's get right into it, man. So if anybody's listening to this, these like last 12 episodes, we've been heavy in Keap, right? We've been talking automation, helping gym owners' life cycle. I was just traveling around doing these build outs. And, the big question that comes up is like, what's Keap? Is Keap Infusionsoft, or what are we doing? So like maybe let's just clear the record and just like let's get to the bottom of it, to the source.
Yeah. I love it. I'm happy to do it. I hear it all like, oh wait, so what did you guys sell, or did you just decide you didn't want the name because you wanted to get away from Confusionsoft? I hear that one all the time. So let me explain a little bit. So first of all, no, we didn't sell. We love doing what we're doing. We intend to do this for years and years. We've got a big mission by the year 2030 to simplify growth for 5 million small businesses worldwide.
That's awesome.
In order to achieve that mission, we've known for a long time we needed to do what the market's been asking us to do, which is create an easier, lighter version of the software.
Okay.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say over the years, I love Infusionsoft, but it's overkill for my friend, or for me. People will say that, right? They'll say it's overkill for me. So we knew that Infusionsoft is amazing. It's powerful. It does incredible things to help businesses grow sales, save time. Sure. But it also is too much for some people, and it's confusing for some people. It is. I totally own the fact, and I tell people a couple of years ago, we're going to kill that confusion. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
And we're going to create a solution that enables small businesses to grow. So very simply put, it's one company. It's actually one platform. Keap is the lighter, easier version of our software. We now have Keap Pro, right? And that's a little bit of a step up. And then we have Infusionsoft at the high end. So we have kind of a good, better, best lineup with Infusionsoft at the high end, and it's all one platform.
Yeah. Well, thanks for clarifying that, because that is the question, right? Like, what is Keap? What is Infusionsoft? And so that's kind of what I tell them. I say Keap's the name of the company now.
Yep.
It still is. The Infusionsoft is now technically a product.
That's right.
Within Keap. So
that's exactly right. It's the product that's the addition of our software at the high end.
Yep.
And there's a lot of really cool stuff we're doing with the Infusionsoft product. But I think over time people will see very clearly that it is one platform, and you can seamlessly upgrade from one version to the next.
Got it.
Beautiful.
So we came up with this name Keap, but like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
What does that even mean, Keap?
Yeah. So our purpose as a company has always been to help small businesses succeed, and we know how challenging it is to grow a business. It is not for the faint of heart. I mean, this is tough stuff. The vast majority of individuals would never consider doing it, and those who do, most of them quit at some point. It's just so hard.
Nature of the beast.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we have always been about encouraging the entrepreneurial spirit and encouraging them, because we know that grit and perseverance, that is the ingredient for success that you have to have. Everybody's got to have it. So the when you think about it, that overwhelming desire to quit is so big. We want to encourage business owners everywhere and keep going, keep serving, keep growing.
There it is. Okay.
And we will build that brand of Keap around that encouragement to the entrepreneur.
We figured it out.
There you go.
Well, that's it for this episode.
And we're done.
We figured it out. Kelly, who works for me, she showed me this video you guys did. It was on you. It was a YouTube ad, and I don't know if you know this one, but it was like it hit the feels button real hard. It was literally voicemails of people calling the owner saying, hey, when are you going to give this up?
Right.
Hey, being in a small business game, you know what? You should probably look for a real job.
Right.
Over and over and over, and then it said Keap. Oh man, that was such a good video. I don't know if you guys are leveraging that.
Oh, it's got 3.1 million views on it right now.
He's never seen it.
Yeah,
3.1 million.
That's right. I wasn't 3.1 million of them, but I have watched it a few times. But yeah, the reason. So we introduced that when we introduced the brand, and the whole point was to help people understand the essence of our brand, the sentiment of our brand, and it really is about encouraging the business owner to keep going. So yeah, that video has been really popular. We just put one out yesterday. That's kind of the second step in that, because what if you go look on YouTube and you look at all the comments under that, people say, "Wow, you guys really are speaking to me. You nailed it.
Yes.
This is what it's like as an entrepreneur." Nobody really talks about this hard side of it, all that stuff, right? And then what they say right after that is, "And what does Keap do?" And so, which is totally fine, because we knew that. We actually knew the whole point in building the brand was step one was
awareness.
to get that emotion out there, and step two is to say, now what do we do? So as of yesterday, we can tell the date, I guess, what that is. But anyway, you can go now and see what is Keap, and there's a really cool, fun video around what is Keap.
I think I saw that. It was like people in your office were like talking about it. I don't know.
There's the octopus thing. That is
a good video.
We just put that out. Yeah.
So, well, if somebody is on this podcast and they don't know what Keap is, what would you tell them?
Yeah.
Right now?
So Keap is one system to grow your business, and it's an all-in-one solution that it has your sales, your marketing, your payments capabilities all in one system.
All-in-one solution.
And it's all about helping you get organized and follow up and automate to grow your business.
Yeah, and
beautiful.
We really hit the automation portion of this, because gym owners who is our audience, who we speak to, they're busy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're janitors, they're training clients, they're making sales calls, they're doing everything in between. So we really lean on it as a system to help free up time and actually do it better than a human being can really do it.
Right.
For years, obviously, I told you I've been using it for 10 years. The whole foundation of what Infusionsoft was built on in communication was email.
Yeah.
So let's dive into that a second.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Email's dead, right? You hear this. I've always been the first one to say it's not dead for me, because when I send a campaign out, there's more money in the bank after than before. Like let's talk about that. So why do you think that's the thing right now?
Yeah, I think that the reality is email is one of the ways we communicate with customers, but you look at text messaging and it's become such an important way to communicate with customers. So I think when people are saying email is dead, it's just that they're noticing how much they use texting and how much maybe less they use email than they used to. Or, you think about how much email you do on your phone. Most people are looking at email on their phone now.
Sure they are.
Yeah.
So I think it's more just the reality of the way that communications has evolved, but it doesn't mean that it's dead. I mean, we send billions of emails, and it's obviously an important part of what we do, but we now also do text, and that's important for our customers.
That's a big milestone for us as users. So I'm excited. I've been telling people I'm kind of in that alpha test right now. We've got a few apps, and we're messing with it. I sent my first campaign out yesterday, so we'll see how it goes.
All right.
So when is that, like, when can we expect that to be kind of like in every single one?
Yeah, the texting capabilities are starting to roll out. So we've got alpha, and then there'll be a second group, third group. But by the end of the year, people will have the texting capabilities.
Right there.
Beautiful.
So that's
huge.
Yep.
Huge.
So Infusionsoft.
Yeah.
Where do you think this comes from?
Yeah. When you don't have a process set up, automating it is very confusing.
There you go.
So what happens is and that's half of it. So half of Infusionsoft comes from, if you don't have a process, the software is speaking to you as though you have a process.
Yes.
The other half of it is, we didn't do a good job in speaking to them as though they had a process, making it clear, here's what you would do if you don't have a process. Here's how we help you do that in a really simple way. Gotcha. And so the software was created for people who were more process thinkers. They're a little bit more marketing oriented, a little bit more process oriented, and they already had processes. So it was really amazing for customers like that to get the software and go, oh, holy crap, I can automate. If I can dream it up and flowchart it, I can automate it.
See, that's where I come in, and I look at it and I'm like, it's never been confusing for me,
right?
Ever. Like, what do you guys? And I was like, well, maybe it's just because they're just not as smart as I am, and that's not really it. I just don't think. I think to your point was, they didn't have a process to build in there.
Yeah, and there's two reasons for that, Tim. One is. One reason, and we've been doing this for years, so we understand this. And by the way, when I say I own Infusionsoft, I'm not trying to say, oh, well, they did this or a competitor called it this, or no. We chose our customers and we serve our customers, and we could have done a better job of making it clear for customers who didn't have a process. But it's very clear to us that when you have a process, you do well in the software, and when you don't, you struggle with it. And so why do they struggle with it? Well, first, they haven't been in business long enough to realize, here's what I do, here's what happens. And so if you're an earlier business, you just haven't got it out of your head and out of your natural ways of doing things, so you don't recognize that you actually have a process. The second thing is, some people just don't think that they don't think that way in that process-oriented manner, because they're just so busy doing the business. They're just so busy doing the work that they haven't stopped, taken time and said, you know what? What's the path I want the customer to go through here? What's the experience I want? Or what do I want to take them through? It's just, you can either create your own process or have the customer create the process, but one way or another, you've got to have a process. And if you don't, you're just going to be on the hamster wheel over and over and over.
And I think the unfortunate thing in today's world we're in is, like, people want the software to fix the problem.
Exactly.
Yes. They just buy that. They think by buying the product, your product or any other software, it's like, if I have this, I'm gonna win.
Right.
And it's not true, guys. You have to actually leverage it.
And the beauty of Keap and Infusionsoft is it's wide open. So the custom aspect of what we're building, for our clients and what your users can do with it it's incredible.
Yeah.
I look at those processes like a whiteboard. Okay, what is the ultimate goal we're looking to achieve with our client? Let's work backwards. Let's figure out the process in reverse almost, right? So like we were talking about, like a consultation is our first goal. Okay, well, where did that client come from in order to get him to a consultation? Right. And then we can almost retroactively build backwards, the process in place.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's just, most individuals don't, like you said, don't know the process that it takes to get there, or don't know how to look at the problem and then understand that this is the solution, like you said, but we have to build the process in order to get there.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. And when you have that kind of process-oriented thinking, you love the flexibility to be able to customize and do all sorts of things. When you're more of just kind of a pragmatic business owner and you just want to do certain things, it's like, hey, give me the templates, let me know what I need to do. And so that's what we're doing more and more with Keap and Keap Pro, is kind of guiding people through that process. But we'll always have Infusionsoft at the high end of our solution, where customers that want to do that flexibility and that customization, they can have that ultimate automation at their fingertips.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So for me, it's never been confusing, because I think it's because just the way we think. I think that's a big part of it. So, so I was telling you.
And by the way, it's also that you've been in business for a while doing it.
That's true.
You have an understanding.
That's true.
And I think that's one of the things we saw as early stage solopreneurs. Yeah, it's confusing to them.
Yeah, I noticed some of those templates coming out in Keap Pro, right? You just grab, like, nurture lead to this.
Oh yeah, we were like, what is this? How did this get in here?
Yeah. So I was messing around with some of them, and they're great, right? I mean, I think they're probably some of your partners building those out for you guys and pushing them in there. So I'm gonna open a little can of worms.
All right, let's do it.
Here we go.
Here's the worm can. So a couple years back, I was in Russell Brunson's inner circle for years, right? And he basically waged war on you guys, just internally. He basically said, hey, we're going to go after, first off, it was lead pages.
Right.
And they made this whole cartoon about it, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And they wage war on Infusionsoft as this big Godzilla giant guy. and I'm in his inner circle, and I actually sat down and talked to him. I go, my man, I'm using Infusionsoft to its fullest capabilities. Your product can't do what it's doing for me. I want to make sure you don't not integrate, because right now we're using both.
Right.
He said verbatim, we have way too many users in ClickFunnels that use Infusionsoft. I can't do that.
Right.
And then later on, the integration broke, and I felt like there was this tiff between you guys that nobody wanted to fix it.
Yeah.
And it's their fault and it's your fault. And I was like, crap. So we used Zapier to go around it. So I had to help a lot of people get out of that hole. But they're very good, and I respect Russell, and I think you do as well. And and there was a time, actually, it was at the Icon here at the Phoenix thing, where I actually have a shirt that says ClickFunnels loves Infusionsoft. I still have it in my closet.
Oh, it's absolutely hanging in mine.
ClickFunnels loves Infusionsoft. And then it was ClickFunnels hates Infusionsoft. I hate those guys. They're the worst. And I'm looking from the business user side, and I'm like, these aren't the same product.
Right.
Not even close.
No.
Yeah.
ClickFunnels is a funnel.
Right.
Landing page template builder, right?
Right.
And it's great. Infusionsoft is a CRM automation tool.
Right.
They need to be the different.
Right.
And so the fact that he waged war on you guys, I personally think it was more of an angle to just get more like a marketing angle.
Yeah. So do you want the inside story?
Let's do it. Inside story. So
all right. So probably, I don't know, maybe 18 months ago, something like that. Yeah. We were having problems with the integration with ClickFunnels, and we've got a lot of customers that have both. Yeah. And so we were like, we've got to get this fixed for our customers. Russell had come out at that point with the Kill Infusionsoft. Yep. I can't remember what it was, but it was then with the Infusionsoft T-shirts and all that stuff.
We're the enemy. You're the enemy.
Yeah, and I had all of these customers sending me the video of the Godzilla thing. I was like, oh brother. Anyway, so we knew that they were kind of waging war, but we were not we were not for a second in a place of we don't want to work with them. We needed to work with them for our customers' sake.
Right.
So we were trying to make the integrations work more effectively, and we were struggling with them. And frankly, I'm not saying it was their fault or our fault, but there was a lot of finger pointing back and forth. So I was like, I'm calling Russell. So I got on the phone with Russell. I said, look, we've got customers that need us to work together more effectively.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I totally agree. And I said, so let's get this working better. And he goes, okay, well, why don't we'll get you guys connected to, and he was great. He's like, well, let's get your team connected to our team, our developers. So we're working on the API issues that have been popping up. And I said, okay, great. So we got that worked out. I said, now I got to just ask you the question. What is your beef with us?
Yeah.
And I said, what did we do? And he goes, well, I told everybody on stage, you guys didn't invite us back to your user conference. Or you guys didn't invite us to the user conference. Or you uninvited us. That's what he said. You uninvited us. And I said, well, do you know why? And he said, well, yeah. And I said, why was that? And he said, well, I don't know. Maybe you should tell me. And I said, I think you know why. And it's because at our last user conference, you came and you sponsored a booth and you told customers, oh, don't use Infusionsoft. And and I know that our products are far more complementary than they are competitive. And that was not a good thing for customers to not have a CRM solution. So he said, yeah, I can see why you did that. I said, and by the way, it's not just that our products are more complementary, so it's bad for the customer, but you paid us to sponsor a booth and then told people not to use our software. Would you do that for your people that sponsor booths? No, I wouldn't do that. Right. I said, okay, so it wasn't good practice for you to come sponsor the booth and do that, and it wasn't good for the customers, which is most important. So what's the real reason, Russell? And he said, it was marketing. He's like, okay, that's just that, I'll be honest with you. That's the way we do our marketing. We pick somebody we want to go fight. And I said, you know what? That's fine. Why don't you tell people that? Because instead you're telling us that we're the bad guy, and Russell, that's bull crap, and you and I both know. And that's exactly what I said to him.
Okay.
Good.
For the record.
There you go. That's the first time I've told anybody, but there you go.
Well, and now entering the ring from the left, here's Russell.
And Russell and I bump into each other at different events. Listen, Russell's an amazing marketer.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is a world-class tribe builder, and I have a lot of respect for him. But his software does not compete with our software. It's not CRM software. It's not an automation solution. And by the way, he just came out a couple of months ago and said, we're getting out of the CRM Actionetics business. And he said what we have all known all along.
Sure.
His software is a nice tool to help you get leads and sales. It is not the platform to run your business. It is not CRM. It is not an automation solution to run your business. So,
and I think, that's something that we work with our clients on a lot, because, what softwares they need, and especially when they're in our coaching programs and things like that, in our workshop that we ran recently, we do use a number of softwares.
Yeah.
And the question is, well, isn't there one thing that I could do that's everything? And I was like, well, there are solutions, if you may.
Right.
But why not bring the best of what you can have in each of those realms, so that your actual results are the best of what you can bring to the table.
Yeah.
And like you said, I absolutely think that complementary, having those two softwares complement each other is 10 times more effective than picking one or the other.
Right.
And it's the way it is. It's the truth of it, right? You guys don't focus on building beautiful drag and drop landing pages. Now it's an option, but that's not your primary focus.
Right.
When you stay in your lane and you allow that competitiveness to actually work together for the client's benefit, so much more benefit to the end user.
Yeah. And I was trying to work with Russell in a more complementary way, and that's not Russell's nature. so I would like it to be. If he wanted to say, look, we have customers who need a CRM, and by the way, he should absolutely say, wow, we don't have the CRM and automation part of it, but if you look at what Keap Pro is, and you created a more effective partnership with ClickFunnels, it could be amazing. And
do you think he would now? I mean, he can't go back on his enemy, or maybe he could. Maybe there's a truce, right? Maybe there's a truce. You guys come together.
I think he could if he wanted to. He could.
Russell, if you're listening.
Yeah. Let's be that
to be
olive branch.
Well, I'm happy to be the olive branch. I mean, you know him just as well as I do. But I would just tell you that we've always used both.
Yeah.
We've seen the good and bad of both, and we've always used both. The only problem was that when it broke big for us.
Right.
We had live campaigns losing tens of thousands of dollars a day.
Right.
And we had all hands on deck.
I remember the 911s.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, we have to do it right for our mutual customers, Russell. And I'm glad we had this conversation. I honestly have not thought about this too much, but I'm glad we had the conversation. I will text him after we get out of this, and I'll say, Russell, we should talk.
That would
be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, because we're using Keap Pro, right? We use but I'm also using some of your landing pages just internally for the front desk and stuff.
Yeah.
Now here's the next thing, right? Okay, so that's awesome, right? The other thing is,
and I'm glad you are, because you can a Keap Pro customer, Infusionsoft customer does have landing pages, and they can use them for a number of things. It's not as in depth, and there's not as much capability as there is in ClickFunnels. We know that. We're not trying to be a complete replacement there for that. I told Russell that straight up on the phone call I had with him 18 months ago.
Okay.
I said, look, we have landing pages, but we're not. And that might have been why he decided to attack, because we came out with a landing page solution, but we had to do that. Our customers were asking for it. If you want something that has more to it, a little deeper functionality, then use ClickFunnels.
Got it.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me. I wish there was one. I wish there was one software that would also run the gym billing. That would be amazing, but that's just not going to happen. So the next thing is, I know that
we should talk about that part, because I think Keap Pro is pretty close to that, being able to do that.
Okay, so I'm happy to, because right now we're using there's customers out there using MindBody, Wellness Living, Zen Planner. There's probably 10 other ones.
I get asked that question 5 to 10 times a week.
Yeah.
Isn't there one? Isn't there one platform?
If there was one, that company would shoot to the moon. Shoot to the moon, right?
Yeah.
But what we've always found is you're great at one thing and not the other.
Right.
Most companies, like for instance, you probably don't even heard of this company. ABC Financial was the billing company that they do big box gyms like LA Fitness, and
they charge my card every month. I know.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, I still get those too.
So ABC Financial, we use them for years, and the reason we use them is because they have a great billing side.
Right.
They build the clients, they hold the contracts. If cards go delinquent, they're the ones reaching out. So I wasn't the bad guy. Their schedule is horrible. I couldn't schedule clients. There was no online app, and there's now. So now I had to go to use MindBody. So I was using MindBody for scheduling and ABC for billing.
Yeah.
Well, that got to be too much, so I got rid of ABC, brought it over to MindBody, and everything's in there. But now the burden's on us. If a card declines, we've got to be the bad guy, and we're calling, which is fine. It's very few here. But they're great for certain things, and they try to have a CRM now, and that's horrible, right? So like, now what are we doing? Right. So if you guys could all just like create one big, I know you're all, I mean, you do different things, and so the what ends up happening is these gym owners who, I mean, for lack of a better word, they're not tech savvy.
Right.
They're trainers.
Sure, they're not supposed to be. Yeah.
And now they've got this tech stack, and they are so confused.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we had Dimitri.
Yeah,
he was ready to cry yesterday on our workshop. He's like, man, I'm just turning this off. We'll do it for you, Dimitri. But, you know, that's just how it is, right? You can't be good at everything.
Yeah.
Well, in to speak to our clientele, you know, the gym owners we're speaking to, this is and maybe just more small business users or owners, they wear every hat, right? So to step in and understand marketing, CRM, landing pages, all of this, when, you know, our clientele typically has a couple certifications in personal training, and now they own a gym, and they're trying to figure out, you know, what a P&L is, let alone how to go get people into a gym. It's then adding in 4 or 5 different softwares to accomplish one task. They're all the time want to throw their hands up that it's just too confusing, you know, and they outsource it rather than having something at their fingertips that makes sense, that they can use, that they're comfortable. Keap Pro is absolutely doing that.
Yeah.
Eventually, it would be nice to have a single platform for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we got it.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm hearing you, along with about 1,000 other requests that are similar. But
no, here's the nitty gritty, right? So email deliverability. We're gonna want to talk about that for a second.
Oh yeah, we kind of
So we're pushing out emails through communication. We're bringing in text. I know that's being built, which is the best thing since sliced bread for Keap. What do you think the whole deliverability of like going into the spam folder and never even delivered? Like, what's that all about?
This is huge. So we've been making a really big push over the last 6 months or so because the industry's been changing. The email industry. And it used to be that if you had you could build your list as, you know, build it bigger, and as long as they were double opt-in, or if you did different things to sort of authenticate the people that were on your list, or you can do your domains, all sorts of different things like that. Those were the ways that you would kind of optimize your deliverability.
Okay.
But the industry has changed, and it really is, does the customer want to receive your emails as evidenced by the engagement that they're showing? So opens, clicks, replies. I mean, those are the things that matters. Yeah, and it's really opens and clicks. Those are the
opens and clicks. Yeah. Those are okay. If we can get some opens and clicks, what happens?
But I think you also want replies, because you want to show that, because I'm looking at where it's going, and they're going to want to see that there's traffic going back and forth, because you people will always game things or whatever. So I think what you're really trying to do is you're trying to have a conversation with that person. You're trying to get them engaged in whatever it is you're teaching or offering or whatever that is. So the simplest way for me to summarize what I just said is stop thinking about list size and start thinking about engagement.
Okay.
It's about engagement.
And is there some like dashboard somewhere that shows you your ranking? Like how do you know when your emails are getting delivered or not?
Yeah, so we're bringing more and more tools to our customers so that they can see how they're doing. They can also manage what's happening. Okay. So we just we've got a capability in the software that we've brought to customers where you can set whether, because if you think about it, what you don't want to do is send a bunch of emails that never get opened, never get touched.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that hurts your deliverability. And so I think a lot of times business owners are not thinking, oh, I'm responsible for my deliverability. And I just kind of, I use Infusionsoft, and it just kind of goes out there. And then if it doesn't get in the inbox, I'm mad at Infusionsoft. That's almost like saying, I'm trying to go buy a car and my credit score is not good, and I'm blaming the dealer. Well, no, actually what happens is you have a reputation that's represented by your credit score.
Yeah.
In deliverability, your deliverability, you have a reputation that's around your engagement.
Okay.
So engagement is like credit score. You've got to work on that engagement, and if you want to be gearing up for a big sale, you want to have good engagement, right? Otherwise, your emails aren't going to get through as well.
So that's the question. Like, so I can go pull my credit report and I know what my score is.
Yeah.
where the hell do I do that for
my
email?
What's my deliverability score, right?
Yeah. What is it? Where do
we don't. That's not something that is just out there yet because it's kind of this kind of newer thing. But I think it could go to that point. I think
it'd be great.
It'd be huge.
Mm-hmm. So from what I know, and I only know this much about your IPs and I think isn't everybody like kind of like several shared IPs and like you're kind of hoping that the other guys and girls on that they're sending from the same IP are doing best practices.
Yes.
And then if they don't, it hurts me.
That's correct.
Okay.
So we have shared IPs, although we did just recently come out with dedicated IPs. I don't know if you're aware of that.
$300 or something a month.
Yeah. So if you, and we actually recommend it to some of our customers who do a lot, and we may get to a point where we require it if you have a lot of volume and a practice that is, a little bit.
So you separate those.
Say, look, you're on your own.
Problem child.
That's right. and to say you now, it's a matter of you standing on your own with deliverability. Whereas, in some ways you're kind of dependent on other people obeying the rules. And here's true confession. I think over a period of time while we were working really hard to get the Keap product out, last year we were not putting as much attention into managing deliverability email practices of our customers. And so we saw some wobble and some problems. We've been putting a lot of resource and a lot of effort into that over the last 6 months or so, really over the course of this year. More engineers creating features for our customers, more servers creating bandwidth to get stuff through. The problem that we had last year around November, or specifically around Black Friday, the email, we had so much email going out, and it backed up the servers, which caused app problems. So we've done a bunch of work to make that better.
So we're good for this Black Friday.
Yeah, we're working hard on that for this Black Friday.
Good, because we just did a Black Friday workshop for our Keap customers yesterday.
And the message that went out today. So Tim literally sent a Vox to our group that was all part of the workshop and mentioned about kind of seasoning your email.
Yeah, that's right.
You have to have good quality content going out now if you expect that offer to actually hit inboxes and be received.
And this is where sometimes people get email marketing out on its own instead of being part of customer relationship management. You are cultivating relationships.
Yes.
That's what's going on with email. Like you are building what's engagement? It's evidence of a relationship.
Yep.
And that, I think a lot of times people just think, I'm just going to blast this out and I'm going to get a certain amount back. Like, that's not the way email marketing is working anymore.
I would carry that over to even the social media side of things.
Sure.
I mean, we're in the middle of that right now with the lead generation and the competitiveness of fitness marketing.
Yeah.
Everything's direct response. It's buy my stuff right now. Here's a dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you're asking for a sale every single post.
Right. You're building a relationship. If you're doing that, you're not building a relationship.
You're not building a relationship, yep.
Instead, you want to be teaching, educating, helping, offering.
You guys heard it from the guy himself, so listen.
Yeah, so that just piggybacks on what we talk about on
constantly.
this podcast all the time. You got to build a relationship. You got to give value, deliver, give, and then ask.
Right.
Yep. And then they'll be more willing to anyway.
That's right. And as they engage, when they engage and they reply, you might think, oh, well, I didn't make a sale. Actually, what's happening is you're building relationship, and the ISPs who deliver email, they see that. Okay. They see that engagement's happening, and so they know, oh, this person does want to receive emails, so we're going to let that email through. When they see stagnation in your engagement, then they go, oh, we're going to put that over here. We're going to let that go through.
Junk, spam, all those. Yeah, it's nothing worse. So by default, you're thinking email is less effective because my open rates shrink. However, it's because they're not even seeing the emails.
Right.
If they saw them, they'd probably open them, right?
Yeah.
So
or they're not opening because they're just not interested. They're not compelling. And I think that's where business owners have to, like, if we're just totally honest with ourselves, there's pride in your list size.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Like, I got a list of this many. And the reality is we have to change that to say, here's, people are engaging. It's not just, I've got a list of this many. And that is fundamentally a hurdle for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to do a lot of education to help people understand it's not the list size, it's the engagement. That's what matters.
And so you can run reports on last engagement, right? 60-day, 90-day engagement.
Yeah, and we just created a fun capability to automate the management of your list more effectively, so that in our CRM software, you can have contacts that are marketable but haven't been engaging And then when they get to a certain point, you don't want to market to them anymore,
Yep.
at least not through email. You can call them, you can send a postcard, you can do different things to try to re-engage them. But at some point, trying to re-engage a customer that's not engaging over email is dangerous for you and your deliverability.
Sure, it's gonna hurt everything that we just talked about.
Yeah. And last episode, I was just talking about how I hired an email deliverability consultant. I didn't even know his name is Evan. You probably heard.
Oh yeah, Evan. Yeah,
Evan Samarian.
Yeah,
yeah.
He used to work with us. Yeah.
Yeah. So Evan, I hired him, and he's like, dude, we got to clean this list, man. So we put it through this like clean software. Anyways. Now our open rate's 45, 48%.
Awesome. That's amazing.
But my list is much smaller, but I don't care.
Yeah. Because you're probably still getting about the same number of gross of opens that you had before, but you're just not getting your percentage is way better because you're not getting the people who weren't opening.
Yes. So then it's just going to help my deliverability over long term. So
that's right.
So I think I get it now. I was that guy because I think I had like 20,000 for a small business, whatever. We wiped it down to 10 or 11 now. And it's like, cool, I'm good with that, So, all right. What else? What else we got?
What about the future?
Future?
What do we see? Maybe not necessarily super tech, but what do you see Keap Pro developing into as far as what's coming?
So I think probably the biggest thing for people to understand is that there's one platform and one world here with Keap and Infusionsoft. That's the biggest thing. And when I say we have and you can see today we have Keap and Keap Pro and Infusionsoft, but I think people still see those as being very different, and probably because the user interface is different.
Totally different, yeah.
But what I would say is for people who understand Infusionsoft, Keap is coming toward you, and you'll have a user interface and user experience that is Keap-like. You'll have all of the functionality and capabilities that we've built on the Keap side that will go to Infusionsoft.
Sweet.
Infusionsoft will always have functionality and capability at the high end of our product line, but we're creating the product lineup so that you can smoothly upgrade from one to the next, and that you don't sacrifice any functionality if you're an Infusionsoft customer. You have all the things that our Keap customers have.
Sweet, yeah.
So I think that's just that world of one platform, making that a reality more and more. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah,
awesome.
And we love it as a tool. I mean, that's a big part of our business now. I was telling you before, we've kind of shifted from just doing lead generation to more coaching and more systems.
I love it.
And really, if anything is a system, Keap done the right way is truly a system, right?
Yeah.
The client life cycle. So guys, if you're interested in that, hey, give us a call.
Well, I'll tell you, I love just walking in and seeing your gym. I'll tell you that this probably is a little more revealing than I should, but I go to a gym 3 times a week, and then I'm signed up at CrossFit. And the idea was that I would go 2 or 3 times a week to CrossFit, and I'm not going that often.
Okay.
And I get these manual text follow-ups occasionally from Tara at our gym. She's amazing. She follows up, but I'm like, you really should automate that. If I don't come in and log in, then I should get a message, or if it's been a week or it's been whatever, because as the gym owner, keeping that habit in place where the member is coming consistently is critical. And if they start to go dark on you after a week or two, you've got to have a system that knows that and follows up and keeps that client engaged, or that member engaged. Tara's amazing. I don't know how she does it, but I can't imagine she's doing that with if you start doing that with you can't do that.
Can't keep up.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I speak to about when we set up these automations, because a process gives you a baseline for measurement.
Yes, that's a great way to say it.
And if Tara is the one sending these on and off, what happens when she's sick, or what happens when she has a bad day, or what happens when that human element comes into fact?
I'll tell you what happens. It breaks down and you lose money.
That's exactly my point. So I love the fact that once we have these, it's a measurable system at every one of these checkpoints or these conversion points. We have a number. We have a hard number that we know. What is our show rate? What is our conversion rate? And then now we can work to better that.
Yeah.
And without systems in place, it's a you're throwing everything in the wind, hoping it works. And so for us, having something like that where we can show somebody, a business owner, this is where your breakdown in your process, and guess what? It's not more leads. It's this deep in the process.
And usually they think it's always about more leads. It's actually, 100%. if you manage the experience effectively with each of your members that come in, you can grow your business by by word of mouth, by referrals. You can grow it in so many ways. And not only that, but you can grow that member into a much more high-paying member.
Yeah, we build our ascension models.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of our coaching program as well.
Great,
I mean,
awesome. Yeah.
It's yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, this is solidifying. I think we're on the right path because we realize that it's not about leads, and our business has progressed over the last 4 years from lead generation to more of the systems.
Yeah. Sure.
And I think that now we're pulling some of these gym owners that are starting to see that with us, and it's super exciting.
And the reason, I mean, it's very, to me, watching it, it's very predictable. I've watched this story over and over and over and over, and business owners think, well, the answer is leads. You do need leads. I mean, let's be honest.
Sure.
But business owners go back to that again and again, thinking that's the problem. That's not the problem most of the time. It's the lack of follow-up and the lack of relationship building through the customer experience that is the problem. So I love what you guys are doing, as you shared with me a little bit. It's fantastic. And our passion at Keap is creating a platform that can help business owners get organized, follow up, and automate so they grow their business and save time. And you guys are doing it. So thank you so much for all you're doing.
Pushing the needle. Well, great. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I know you're a busy man.
It's been great.
Yeah. I like to think that this podcast isn't structured and it makes it more fun. That's the way I look at it.
Totally. This is great.
We've had people come on here and say, man, that was the most fun. I know you're not a big whiskey guy, but we do Whiskey Wednesday podcast, and we have a blast in here. I know that's not your deal, but would love to have that happen here. But But anyways, appreciate your time. Thanks for being on the show, guys.
Absolutely. Tim, Randy, thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are doing great stuff.
All right, until next episode, keep changing lives. We'll see you. Bye.